We are live. You hear me, Sarah?
Excellent. I can. Wonderful, wonderful. Day 3. It's the halfway point, sorta. It's the halfway point to the challenges, and
Sort
then
of.
a weekend of get her done, got her did. How are you, my dear? How are you?
I am good. And if anyone that's watching can't hear me or does not hear Sarah or anything, just let us know. Everything should be good. How is everyone? Are you guys
I'm
doing
very
good?
excited, Ross.
Are you?
I am. I saw last night that we had an infusion, and that was unexpected. Actually, I'm like, ooh, the game masters have added some interesting stuff, and I just want to welcome each and every person on the wait list that made it into the Slack channel. We have a lot of new people coming in. Yes,
Yeah.
you are a couple days behind, but guess what? It's quick and easy. We'll get you all caught up. But I'm really excited that our sponsors kind of came through and made sure that we had more to give and to open it up to more people. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's incredible when the sponsors come together to allow more people. We had to have the wait list at a certain amount of people because there was just not enough prizes to give to everyone, but we are super excited that we have more availability. So if you are watching this right now and you did apply, odds are you might be accepted. So I would check your email as soon as you hear this. I know I have been taking people off the wait list every few minutes. Just make sure if you're on the wait list and you've been taken off the wait list that you review all the information on the page. There is some stuff that's there that is private, so I won't share it. But if you click the event, it will have all of the email blasts, all of the updates, all of the information that was sent out. So, again, if you just got admitted right now, head over to the event page to see exactly what you missed. And make sure you reach out to us on Slack to get your turbo pack. And if you need any other help, we're here to help you. But I do know people did just get admitted today and yesterday. I see it on my screens. So just keep that in mind. If you just got admitted, you're not so late that you can't finish or complete. All you have to do is just get your turbo pack and hit the ground running.
You brought up a really good point, Ross. Just to be really abundantly clear, it wasn't that there's not enough prizes. There are plenty of prizes. We have one of the biggest prize packs that I think any any online hackathon in this kind of way has, kind of matriculated and put together. It's just that we wanted all of our participants to be successful. So it's the difference between having everything that you need in Bolt as opposed to here's 100 credits or here's 100 tokens. We wanted you to be almost overwhelmed with the stuff that you have at your hands and in your fingertips because one of the things that is a core ethos not just of tech in schools, it's one of my core ethos. I always give my students my best tools because they give me their best work. And sometimes that means you're putting a very expensive tool in the hand of someone that is inexperienced. And I would just want to tell you that's a good thing because they do learn and they learn to appreciate the craftsmanship and the high quality of those tools, And so I just wanted to point that out because our participants are being lavished and we wanted to do it that way because you're spending a lot of your time, your energy, your resources, your mind space for the next 7 days. And we really want you to expand your horizons and get to know some of the really cool things that are out in the wild in the AI space. Our challenge is to build an AI app, but we don't want you to have to sink to the lowest common denominator. We all have a beer budget and we have champagne tastes, and we kind of want to give everybody a little sip of the bubbly. So I just wanted to point that out is that, yeah, this is the first hackathon for obviously AI mastery, and we're learning a lot as we go and how to allocate things, and how to also shine a spotlight on all of the people that came out of the woodwork to help us, whether it's the sponsors or the judges. I mean, like we said on day one, this thing came together in 48 hours, and that just shows you the power of the community and people who really truly want to see you win. And we're building because we can, not because we have to. It's just because it's fun. And so I hope that all of you are having fun. I know you're stressed out. It's the middle of the week, but you'll do awesome. I know it. Go ahead, Ross.
And just to answer some questions, yes, registration is officially open, but not for long. We have about 6 spots officially left in the AI Mastery Hackathon. We did have 30, but between yesterday and today, that 30 changed to 6. So if you have a friend that you want to join, let him know. Today you can register. There's 6 more spots in the actual hackathon. And I'm getting a lot of those questions, so I wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, and folks, there are people that look at this and go, "Oh my gosh, it's already been 2 days." You know what? You can do a lot of damage when you're when you're totally focused and getting it done, streamlining the process, and as long as you check all 5 of those boxes on those challenges, it doesn't matter when you do them; they just have to be done before you put in that submission. I do know that there were some troubles, I think, with the submission box. There is the new link just above our little Eminem video. That is the song that we play as we enter every single competition for the Flint and the Detroit teams, because Eminem is from Detroit, so I have no apologies when it comes to posting that. But it gives you a marker in the timeline there in the Slack channel. So go a couple posts up and you will see Ross's brand new link to make sure that you have your day 2 submissions put in where they're supposed to be. We just want to make sure that everybody is aligned, everybody has everything going. I know that Jack, you had texted me behind the scenes. I will figure that part out after our live stream. I'm not exactly sure. I'll give you a call and we'll try to figure it out. I just also wanted to say thank you on the recording and making sure that people are listening in. We have some really cool participants. I will tell you, it's not just about learning about our sponsors and their story. I think, like we said on day one, we see a corporate logo, but we miss seeing all of the humans behind it. And there are a lot of spectacular humans behind the avatars, the PFPs, and the logos that you see on the social media. Just really incredible folks. And it goes for our judges as well. A lot of our judges are doing really amazing things. I saw that Carrie has a bunch of stuff that she posted, and LTO's posting. Obviously, Scoble is always posting. And Scoble's list of AI things is one of the most spectacular lists. It's just a really great resource. So if you're not familiar with that, I hope that you follow it. But I also hope that you're following your fellow participants. In real life, when we have a real life hackathon, there's the cross-pollination of personalities over the water cooler, or the bowl of Swedish fish or Sour Patch Kids, depending. Maybe you're sharing a Red Bull, but you get to talk to people and you get to learn about what they're building, and sometimes you offer solutions that get them over a hump, or vice versa. It's the equivalent of dragging someone out of the ditch here in Michigan. Some days you're in the ditch, and other days you get to help someone get out of one. So I hope that you're getting to know people. We have some really, really spectacular participants that have chosen to use their superpowers for good. I have been seeing more and more live spaces. And of course, we're going to try to visit as many as we can. If you give us the hat tip that you're opening up a live space or you're working in public. I also invite you to take advantage of Slack. Slack has the ability to create, a space, so you can all work together and kind of, don't have to code alone, as they say. But I did want to point out the handful of you that have put some really great content, that you're sharing your journey and you're sharing the wins, the losses, losses, and the I wonders. And I just wanted you to know I see you. And when you do tag me, I try to, point it out, because that's what this is about. It's not necessarily whether you win or lose. It's how you evolve over the next 7 days, and what happens when you're building something or you're getting outside of your comfort zone. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being awesome, for using your superpowers for good, for uplifting other people, and for embodying gracious professionalism and that spirit of co-opetition. That's really important, and I hope that we see more of that in more of the hackathons that you see online. For those of you that don't know, Bolt is having their own hackathon. Arweave is having their own hackathon. These are people that you should be familiar with. You know them as sponsors, you know them as judges, and now that you're kind of getting your feet, you know where you are, you're getting your grounding in this hackathon. I'm going to dare you and challenge you to go ahead and spread your wings and be involved in other hackathons too, because each one has different ways of doing things. They have different focuses, they have different tools, they have different, experiences, and you really do want to hack your own education. You're in charge of your own journey. This is a choose your own adventure, and I really hope that you take advantage of that. So, Ross, today,
By the way, do you know in the last your spiel for the last 10 minutes, you know what happened?
I'm sure the AI has scraped it and made it sound.
No, I'm just saying we went down from like what we had to now 3 more spots, guys. So people are joining, and it's awesome.
Well, we want them to join, and the thing is that yes, it's dribbling out. Yes, you're going to have a higher bar. No, there's not going to be any exceptions made for you folks that are joining late. You're basically deciding to do the hackathon in expert mode, and I will tell you, I love it. I love it. It's awesome, and I do hope that all of our spaces are taken. We have had a couple people who have decided that for one reason or the other, maybe it's a little much for them, right? We have a lot of newbies, and it's okay. Extend yourself some grace. But I'm still going to challenge you. I'm going to be that drill sergeant in the background saying, "Hey, you know what? Do it. Get up. Be determined. Put in the work, and see it through." Because you know what? Everybody's great at starting stuff. It's finishing stuff that's really difficult and getting across that line. So, put in the time, put in the effort, and send your idea out into the wild, because you know what, it may not be perfect, but you never know how these things are going to work out. You have a lot of people that are watching you. They're watching how you're behaving, they're watching how you're building, and you know what, there are a lot of folks out there that want to help you change your stars. The universe is conspiring with you. So
And yeah, I'm just reading the chat here. So Bolt is having another hackathon. They have hackathons all the time, and they're so awesome. And you guys should all join. And we're also going to mention another hackathon probably tomorrow or closer to the end of the week that you guys could join too. I think the more you guys do these things, the better you're going to get at these skills. So if you're trying to utilize these skills and you do something with it, or create a product or build a service, hackathons are your best friend. You will learn so much, get access and be exposed to different types of tools, and actually understand the inner parts of what you're building.
to kind of put a little fine point on that, in many ways, if you remember being in high school, or some of you participants are still in high school, this is considered one of those transcript bolstering extracurricular activities. All of us wanted to get into a good place or a good school, had good scores and everything else. And some people did community service. Some people, did athletics, or were in the marching band like I was. I was in both, actually. And this is one of those things that the hackathons, when you participate, you have that muscle memory, but also you're adding to your GitHub, you're adding to the public record, you're adding to this big kind of, story that other people are going to read, and it's going to speak for you when you're not there. Your GitHub is your transcript now, folks. You don't need to have a degree from, a big school, or, certifications from this, that, and the other thing. They just want to see what you're building. They want to see your progress. They want to see the trajectory. You might have the crappiest, project out of the chute, right? But they're watching the evolution of a hack schooler, of a person who is choosing to hack their own education and choose their own adventure. And it's very powerful. especially for people that are wanting to hire you. So go the extra mile. Make sure you have those proofs of human in place. Is there enough evidence out there, breadcrumbs that you've left behind, that are going to convict you of being a hackathoner? Right? Is there enough evidence that is going to say, yeah, I showed up? And I hope that you're thinking about that. Um, we're going to talk about briefly. Challenge two was the AI integration part. And yes, you have to submit it. Do you have to submit it today? No. But if you start stacking all these things and waiting till the last minute, your future self is going to hate you, and you're not being a good ancestor. So I will just tell you, it gets monumentally more difficult when you have to check all the boxes. And, if you're not kind of settled into an idea and you're kind of fleshing it out by now, you're going to have some struggles. I'll just say it that way. Ross is going to go into what today is about, what challenge 3 is about. We're going to learn a couple things that we're going to need to have in our quiver or our tool or tackle box, depending on what it is that you carry in your realm. And he's going to go through and just, kind of give you the little roadmap. And like usual, you will find all of this in the Slack channel. I did have a question. It's up at the top. Morgan, if you find Morgan's awesome, by the way, you should follow her. Up at the top, she actually took a picture, so we know that a lot of you are not familiar with Slack. Slack is a perfect venue for collaborative projects, for teams, for things like that. And you might not be familiar with that realm. So up at the top, there is a thumbtack. It's a little push pin. For those of you that are not feral Gen Xers, you never had the pleasure of having push pins on a cork board, but I will tell you, it's lovely. That's how we used to keep track of stuff before sticky notes. But you're going to want to make sure to check that every single day. There's a lot of valuable information, but more so, I see a lot of people saying, hey, I didn't get this link, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. Usually it's at the bottom of the announcements. They need you to go through the whole entire, sheet of what we did, the expectations, all of that lovely stuff. And then at the very bottom, there's a link. And so I want to make sure that you are aware of that, especially for our newbies who are just showing up. I know that sounds like a broken record, folks, but we want to make sure no one gets left behind. All right, so Ross, today's challenge 3. How about you go over it, what it entails?
Yeah, for sure. And also, I just can't believe that our little Slack of our, little classes community has now grown to like almost 150 people. It's pretty crazy.
It's not crazy. The universe is conspiring. It's awesome. All right.
So I'm going to talk about the challenge, and then I'm going to talk about some ways you can do the challenge. So today's challenge is a bit different. It's not like, oh, I got to start a whole new thing. This challenge is taking what you thought about and did yesterday, and we're going to build on top. So today's challenge is to implement advanced prompt engineering, context awareness, and conversation memory to create an intelligent AI that remembers context and uses this to create better responses. In doing this challenge, what you will want to accomplish is mastering prompt engineering techniques to make the AI do exactly what you want, add memory so the AI can remember previous messages, and then create some context-aware system that creates responses that build on history. Implement different AI personalities or response styles, and build smart conversation management and user flow control in LLMs. Does that make sense, Sarah?
I am processing.
Okay. So the deliverables, the things that you need to be like, I did it, is conversation memory that maintains context across messages. This is honestly pretty easy, and I'll go over how you can do some of this. Improved prompts, so better prompts in your system prompt than yesterday, that get higher quality responses. And I'm going to put this all out. So I'm reading right off the doc, so don't worry, guys. An AI personality that matches your app's purpose. Here's an example of that. If I go to Sarah's website and I click her chatbot and I'm talking to it and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then the response isn't, hey, how are you? You know what it's going to be, Sarah?
It's going to be, hey, I see that you've returned. How can I help you?
Okay, that, and to go even more Sarah like, I would say that little star on the keyboard, sips coffee, star, star, and then answers.
Absolutely.
So, do you understand how much of a difference that would make for the user to be incredibly hyper personalized to the Sarah they already know in their head?
This is really important for brand solidification in people's heads, right? You're trying to have a continuity of messaging across all channels. When someone sees something that is from your brand or from your good or service, they should be able to tell exactly that it's you. So when Ross is saying, hey, I'm visiting your site, you're definitely going to recognize, is that Sarah? Did she give me a tackle hug? Is she offering me coffee? Does she open her toolbox and say, here's all of her stuff? Those are the kinds of things when you welcome someone into your world. You are a good host. You're setting the table. You're creating the event. You're choosing the people that are going to sit next to one another so that they can have awesome conversation and cross pollinate. When you're throwing a dinner party for somebody and you know that they're shy or they don't really reach out very much, you understand their personalities because you know your client so well. You've dreamed of your client. Your client is who you're focused on 24/7, and you are trying to say, how can I set the table? How can I bring joy? How can I make my end consumer smile and feel welcome into my realm, into my universe, right? And that is the kind of thing that you think of. These are those touch points, those proof of humans. If we're all using the same exact tools, how are you going to set yourself apart? How are you going to make your site look different than everybody else? How are you going to make your experience awesome? In one of our previous sessions, we talked about Ed Gebevitz. It's a restaurant in Chicago. You go in and the waiters and the waitresses berate you, are rude, are obnoxious. They're horrible, but that's the experience. That's what you're going in there for, to laugh and to, have the dinner party, just kind of joke around because you have someone that is constantly, playing a role. If you go to Disney World, they have a certain decorum. All of the different characters act the same way or act a specific way that if they didn't act that way, it would not be according to brand, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, your interactions with your client through your AI agents should have that feeling of familiarity. And if it doesn't, and there's a disconnect, immediately humans are suspicious always. They think everything's sus, and especially degeners who dabble in the dark arts of pirate money, right? You've been rug pulled so many times. You are not going to listen to this bot, right? You want to have that layer of authenticity and genuineness and welcome. Just think about the banquet and the experience that you're offering people.
It's true. And before I go any further, I want to answer some questions. Okay, one, you do not need to track IP VR for any of this at all. Sometimes it's actually way simpler than we think. So if I say to an LLM, hey, I'm doing a hackathon for AI Mastery and it's so much fun, right? And then the next thing I ask it, I'm saying, what am I doing? So at that moment, you're trying to see if the LLM knows exactly what you're doing because you just told it what you're doing, but it won't. Anyone know why it won't? Sarah, you're anyone today.
You're killing me, Smalls. I'm answering DMs. So repeat the question.
So why would the LLM not care about what you just said to it on your next chat?
Because you don't have persistence of data. That means,
Right.
yeah, it's not.
Now,
your previous conversation.
Everyone's like, oh, I have to make data or figure out a database, and it's a lot simpler actually. So if I say I'm going to a hackathon to the AI, and then the next thing I say, what am I doing? All I could, the easiest thing is I could send my chat from right before the latest message back to the AI. And then the AI knows what I just said. And another question, you can have your own agreements on your website, Magna, and VR. If they leave the site and come back, technically it's still there. Why? Local storage. But you could use, for example, the AI Tutor RAG API to do this and make persistent data that you can reference later without an account, just by an ID. Or you can go do more things and create storage, which we're going to get to in other days. But for right now, don't worry about persistence after refresh. Worry about persistence in session. So if I'm talking to it, it knows exactly what I'm talking about, like the whole conversation. And those of you who use AI Tutor know how this works because it's what you're experiencing right now. All your chats are recorded basically and sent back to the AI, but summarized in most cases. But in edge cases, we're sending the entire data back, depending like if you're using machine or not. If you're using machine, everything that's said is persistent. Yeah, VR. So if you got the user ID, user level, not logged in, create random user, and then you can use the AI Tutor RAG API or any other API to store data based on user ID. They don't even need to log in. They could just be random IDs. But the cool thing is having it remember what you just said is more important than you think when building a product. It doesn't have to remember for 7 years. It has to remember what I just said. Or I can't build up layers in my conversation, which is very problematic as a user.
This is also really important for the folks that are going the health app route in our general challenge. You know, there's kind of four categories, right? Imagine if you had a person that is early onset Alzheimer's, right? You know, it doesn't, you kind of think about it, you kind of laugh it to yourself, but, you know, I know in my stage of life, I forget where I left my glasses, you know, or my coffee cup on a daily basis. Can you imagine someone that's interacting with your good or service or product and comes back and feels welcome and remembered? It can toggle their mind a little bit. If you're working with the elderly or if you're working with young children, having that consistent messaging is super important. You want to make sure that you are the same every time they show up, because not only is it solidifying in their brain, why am I here and why am I, you know, spending the units of attention in your world, but also it adds the continuity of messaging each and every single time that, you know, they know what to expect when they come to your world. I will give you, for instance, my grandmother had a stroke and she did not have control of the whole left side of her body. And her specialist that would come in every single day had the same little jingle when they walked in the door. They had the same, you know, sometimes they wore the same lanyard or the same kind of shirt or whatever to always make sure that they knew and felt secure in knowing this is not a stranger. I know this. I have some kind of something to tether to. And you'd be surprised at how important those kinds of little touch points are. There are a lot of you participating. I can think of Starboss maybe, who had to have those kinds of therapies where you're learning how to think again and learning who you are, right? Depending on what your app is and how it's helping people, whether it's regaining their life, whether it's a mood tracker, you know, whether it's, you know, keeping track of your temperature or did you, you know, take your medicine. these kinds of things are super important, and that persistence of data means that there's a running track record, not just for you, but let's say they have to share it with a doctor or a specialist. These are the kinds of things that you're marinating on. The problem that you're solving for that person, is it a one and done, or is it something that they're continually going to come and visit you because they need to have that? If you are a person that's going in for, let's say, therapy, imagine a therapist that remembers your last session and says, hey, how did you do with this? Did you, continue on your sobriety? Have you not taken a cigarette, or are you sticking to your diet? Did you get your 10,000 steps in? And I'm just using this as kind of a thing, Did you practice your anger management? Whatever it is that are trying to suss out. That kind of interaction and those kinds of touch points create relationships. And that's what you ultimately want to do. You are not going to have a business if you do not establish those kinds of relationships with one another out in the digital overlay. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. And I got some more questions, and then we'll continue. So the 4 categories are in the initial announcement, but they're not limited to those. So I can put the initial announcement in Slack, and you'll be able to see it, but they're not limited to that. And Dorian, that was for you. And Matthew Elliott, if you build session, that's perfect. But yes, you can definitely plan for persistence in preparation for what's coming next. And there is a code for if not all the sponsor applications. Some are in the turbo pack, some are reserved for prizes at the end. So reach out to me if you did not get the turbo pack, and we'll make sure you get that, which will allow you to register and use some of the sponsors' awesome AI apps. Ones that you'll want to use for this challenge are going to be Modal, if you want to do any LLM stuff or inference, and Daytona. Turbo Pack is in Slack. So if you're watching this and you're part of this hackathon and you are not in Slack, reach out via email or reach out via X. But if you are in Slack, you should be getting a Turbo Pack or have gotten already. New people that just got admitted into the hackathon, you'll be receiving your Turbo Pack later today.
Folks, you are new. If you are new, make sure that there's a continuity in your names so that in Slack we know who you are. Sometimes you have secret aliases. We're not mind readers, so you want to make sure. And the other thing is that you're not getting airdropped these turbo packs. You actually have to do something. You have to kind of poke at the screen, tap on the glass, and make sure people are aware so that they can make sure that you have those availability or those tools at your fingertips, put it that way. It's not just an automatic. You actually have to jump through a couple hoops in order to do it. And that's not to waste your time. That's not to piss you off. It's just to say, hey, we need a layer of accountability. We need to make sure that our sponsors know exactly where their money went. And so there are lots of redundancies that feel kind of irritating. But ultimately, it's to make sure that the game is the integrity of the game is maintained, and also that we are doing everything in a very open and transparent way. I know that sounds, not what you want to hear, but we run a tight ship, and that is something that's really important to me, and I know the boys as well, that we really honor the people that have given us a lot. I mean, there's over $150,000 in 48 hours given to you. So you play your cards, do the things you're supposed to do, and you're going to get some tools that are really going to change your life in a way that, you're not going to be spending money on this infrastructure. You can reallocate it to other things. And those of you that follow through and get to the end and are actually judged, I can tell you these prizes really will change someone's life. I mean, Enterprise with Vercel or some of these other really big ticket items, they're huge. So We just want to make sure that you're aware of that. So if you haven't gotten your turbo pack, you're on a wait list, or you know that you've gotten, hey, your approved email, you may, when you get that approved email down at the bottom, it has like a Slack, invite. You have to make sure you're in the right invite. For you folks that are part of AI Mastery classes on Wednesday night, you should be in the game tab, the one that says the hackathon. So you can kind of click on that. You can open it up and you'll see everybody, and it'll be wonderful. But you have to jump through the hoops. You do have to fill out the Google Doc in order to make sure that you have your turbo pack. If you don't have a turbo pack and you're waiting, heaven forbid, you're just saying, oh, it's going to drop from the sky like manna, and it's going to come on angel wings and wrapped in bubble wrap and shiny unicorn paper, it's not going to happen. You need to have to do something for it. So, all right, Ross, what else are we going to go over in terms of core AI logic? And I think we have almost...
Yeah, so I just stopped right at the last two. So then after that is... So one of the things we learned with building apps is follow-up questions are really useful. So that's something you could think about as like a bonus. What really is important is that your app, is good if you've completed everything and you're ready for actual data persistence, quote unquote, and we'll go over what that is. But the milestones that you want to get to is conversation flow being natural, engaging, personality design being consistent with your app's brand and brand voice, awareness, basic memory system, and basic prompt engineering, and that should be done in a system prompt. And Replit is really cool. You can use Replit. I think their agent is really interesting. I used it to make a few things. But we're going to talk about something really quick that you can use for this challenge. So if you look here, this is called the AI SDK by Vercel. So I'm going to drop this link in Slack so you guys could see. So this is a really good link because it helps you learn about something that's actually pretty powerful. So we use this in most of our apps. And what you can do with this is they have great documentation and they have a cookbook. So you can go here and just click one of these, and I'll zoom in so you guys can see. And this is by Vercel, one of the sponsors for the AI Mastery Hackathon. You could click, let's say, RAG Chatbot, right? And it's going to go over like how to actually build this, like all the code, the embeddings, how to use it. And then there's the actual starter. So you could just clone the starter and build it. Pretty much all of the AI SDK free stuff is available in the cookbook and satisfies this challenge. So you can use the cookbook to figure out how to do really cool things. Has anyone ever used the Vercel AI SDK? If you have, then you know it's very powerful. If you haven't, then this is going to be your first time. And VR, it doesn't have to be conversational. Understanding that it searched something and having the search there to talk to would be the step. So if you're doing a form and you get some sort of data back, what would be super interesting is, can I now use that data in a conversation and talk and be like, why is this way? ? And then it knows what you've just done because your app is passing it smartly to it. Hope that answers your question, VR. But Vercel is amazing for what they built here. It is completely open source. So you have to see in modal, Sharon, you have to see like, what can you do? Maybe you can create, memory in Python in that script. And Magna, it is in Slack. Every single thing that I'm talking about right now is in Slack.
I love Magnus so much. He's so good.
And the other thing I wanted to show you guys is this is from us. This is the AI Tutor API. You can use this to create really nice flows that give you data that you can store in JSON. And this does have a free tier. And if anyone does want to use this during the hackathon, let us know and we'll give you some credits. Just reach out. And with Daytona, we're not going to show it here on the live stream, but I can get you a YouTube video that shows it. There's a few. And just to eliminate confusion with Daytona, you don't go to their website to make a sandbox. Sandboxes are made by agents. So you can make a workflow here in this API, the AI Tutor API, which is in Slack. You could make this workflow and then take that information and then make a sandbox, but it's in code. You'd have to create that flow. The beauty of what I'm showing you here, guys, is to deploy this. Look how easy it is. This is deployment. You could use any language in the whole world using this API. And you could include these inputs and you could choose your model and then just simply deploy it. And now you have an AI integration that goes right into your app. And this is available right now, free for everyone in the hackathon. And if you would like to use this for your app, let us know and we'll give you credits so you'll be able to inference it. Totally free. So just reach out to us in Slack and we will give you what you need to use this if you want to use this. So this actually in the background runs the AI SDK, which is this. So that's one of the main things I wanted to discuss. And yeah, that is the entire brief for today. Do you have any back channel questions, Sarah? I have a few. I have to look at them right now.
I have a couple, but I don't know what they're actually needing. I have people that keep giving me their phone call or phone numbers, right? I love your phone numbers. I love the fact that you would entrust them to me. But if it's a general question, especially something that other people can relate to, I would really prefer them to be out in the open. For me personally, folks, just know I am your typical INFJ, which means judge, which means I really believe in the balance, the whole kind of making sure that everybody feels seen and it is fair. And so, back channel dialogue, I would rather be out in the open. So don't take it personally. It's just, I value the game. I value the integrity of the game, and I want to make sure if it's private, then of course I'll answer it. But yeah, I have to make those phone calls and see what. But I do know that there are a number of you that are kind of concerned that you're falling behind. I get it. I'm here to help you in terms of holding your hand and saying, I know you can do this. For many of you, this is very stressful, and I totally get it. Those kinds of things, you yourself have to summon the power to get over that fear, that anxiety. Crashing and burning in a hackathon is not going to destroy you, right? You want to fail faster, right? In any kind of competition, whether it's a hackathon or a robotics tournament, it is better to know that something doesn't work in day 1 or 2 than hours before you have to submit it. And the more people that you have in your ecosystem that can kind of, test it, and walk through the process or walk through your land, whatever it is, your world, the better off you're going to be. And a lot of the questions that I have behind the scenes are, I'm falling behind. I don't know how to do this. I can't do this. I know, and I understand. There are certain things I can't help you with. But I will tell you, you have a lot of participants here in the room that are holding spaces. They're building in public. They're really wonderful folks. They're not going to lead you astray. They're going to say, hey, did you think or consider this? Extend grace also. The miscommunications, especially this week. And I think at the end of the week, Mercury goes into retrograde and, everybody's going to be in chaos, right? But, understand that, people aren't trying to, sabotage you or anything else. That we're trying to run a tight ship, and you know, make sure that you make yourself known. And if it's in the Slack channel and I can see you, I can answer it. Ross has a couple questions. We are going to try to end on time today because we know that you're busy. And all of the links, and just like last time, and your brief, that's what we're going to call it from now on. Your day 3 brief will be in the Slack channel so you can see the check boxes and what the expectations are for this third challenge. The core AI logic. What are your checkpoints? Do you meet all of those? Maybe you don't. You know, you can judge it for the rest of the week. So, Ross, why don't you go ahead and answer the rest of the questions that you have?
Yeah, sure. So I'm getting a lot of questions about using the AI Tutor API, so that's coming. So if you would like to use it, just hang tight till after the stream is over, and then we'll help you out. Just make sure you actually have an account. So make an account first, and then you'll be able to do it. And what's really great about it is it's quite easy to use. And remember, we will have the PDF in about 30 minutes. And the reason why we don't just auto post all the PDFs is we make sure, like, in case something changes, that we're able to fully have the correct version to you just one time. We don't want to have like 7 versions. And also, thanks, Sarah, a lot for coming and helping host this, because I know it's early in the morning. But I think you bring an interesting take to all this stuff. So I just want to tell you that we appreciate you.
Oh, I love you to the moon and back. It's always one of those things, we are all pioneers right now, folks. I don't know if you really truly understand that, but to have an event like this online and across every time zone and amongst strangers, we all just live in each other's phones. We're in their pocket. We're their pocket family. And so it is a learning experience. And all of us are learning soft skills during the course of this week. How to communicate with other people, making sure that we're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. And, I have been a facilitator for a long time. In Maker Faire, everything's out in the open. When you're teaching or leading a makerspace or a mobile makerspace, you've got, thousands of people right there in front of you, and you're constantly moving and trying to infotain, for lack of a better term. And it's a different medium. And I know that a lot of you are struggling with this, right? Because you're just hearing our voices. You don't know if we're alive or real. We sometimes act robotic, or we're not giving you the questions or the answers to the questions that you have. And there is those moments of miscommunication, which is really difficult, right? But know that it's not intentional. And, we're trying our very best to make sure that you have a great experience for your first hackathon, and that those touch points, those human touch points, encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone to go into other hackathons. I know that we've mentioned this a number of times, but each one gives you a different skill set. And, my AI tutor, Pixio, tech in schools in general, is basically a giant, Swiss Army knife. It's got like hundreds of tools under one umbrella. And once you start understanding what each of these things do, you can modify them to fit your own world, right? It's almost like Picasso. Picasso is this fine artist, and he's painting classical styles. And he's like, well, once you understand the tools, once you understand how these mediums work, then you can break all of the rules, and then you can create, the pieces of work that he was actually famous for, and that's kind of what you're doing now, each and every one of you. You're looking at these tools, you're thinking, how can I use these? How can I, put them into my workflow? But some of them you're going to look at it and go, you know what, these really don't fit, but I'm going to keep them in my toolbox nonetheless, because later on down the road, I might need them. And it comes with people too. Sometimes a person walks into your life and you're not really sure where to put them. You don't know exactly how that's going to play out. Are they going to be a friend? Are they going to be a relationship? Are they going to be, a lover? Or are they going to be an enemy? You don't really know. So it is fun to kind of just explore. And I hope that all of you have that sense of wonder, the curiosity, the joy that comes with learning new stuff. And I do hope that you're, pressurized a little bit. You're carbon beings, and we want to see the diamonds kind of come out of the rough. And we're seeing that. I know that Wednesday is a hard day. Friday is going to be a hard day, but just stick to it. Being in that creative flow is really important. But I do want to say thank you to Ross and Alisher and Nick for entrusting me to be kind of a hostess. I guess that's the best way to do it. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege to serve in this capacity, but also to see all of the wonderful things that you're building, each and every one of you. It is a tremendous privilege. And I know that if I was a company that was giving huge amounts of money to random internet strangers, I would be pretty proud to invest in each and every one of you. Your journeys are amazing, and I know that that is money well spent. And so, as I say, always go on to greatness. I'm very, very proud of you. If you need us, you know where to find us. But I'm going to give the mic off to Ross, and he'll close us out for today. We'll see you about the same time, same place tomorrow. I do believe it'll be back to 10 o'clock, but, just keep an ear out, an eye out, and we're going to try our best to accommodate everybody. And you won't want to miss tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be very, very cool. So go ahead, Ross.
Now, I know before we end, I want to give one quick announcement and let you guys know probably later today there's going to be a live stream regarding what I'm talking about right now. Most of you know Machine, and it's probably one of my favorite ways to utilize AI, honestly, but it's just kind of the most expensive way to use AI right now. But I want to show you something really cool. So, over the last few months, we've listened to what you guys said. And I saw a bunch of tweets actually recently regarding this, but imagine if your agent, if your AI can just literally connect to anything in the whole world. So if you guys have Machine, and we are going to be having a special event with Machine where you guys are going to be able to get some Machine time during this hackathon. But just look at this. Every single service in the whole world, even and this is courtesy of customers that showed me this, you can connect FAL and Runware to Machine. Look, this is so crazy. And Machines could have MCPs, one-click integration to almost 3,000 apps, CRMs, everything. It's so crazy. Knowledge bases and workflows inside agents. And you could trigger it any day, any hour, every minute. And this is why we have hackathons like this. We want to learn, and we want to learn with you. We want to give you ideas. And this is the benefit of thinking about what we talked about today, is that you can actually create something that is just so mind-blowingly insane. And you don't have to do any of it. And before we end, I'm going to show you something really cool. So we're going to I'm just going to tell it, I would like an agent that knows history info and can publish to a Google Doc for me. Random history story, then Google Doc workflow. So I'm not going to actually build any of this. It's going to build the entire thing. The workflows, the triggers, everything. Oh, wait, this is local. Let me switch to live. Oh, it's going. So yeah, this is live right now. If you would like to try it out, the link is in Slack. It's not exactly private, but I did turn registration on for you guys if you want to come try it. But look at what it's doing. And yeah, state for sure. But you can see it does everything. Look at the workflow. But that's not done yet. It's got to do that. So here's what it's going to do. It knows what tools we need. Now it's creating credentials to actually talk to Google. This is all, by the way, hands off. Look at this. It literally created a connect link for me. And it connects machine to Google. Look at this.
To answer the question, yeah, I think we will. Ross he hasn't given the time, but we will have a space just to learn the machine, because some of you have no idea what we're talking about, and I get that.
That was just a little taste of what's coming. But yes, we will have a live stream, and we will have a space, and you guys will be able to try it actually, and try the new tools. It's pretty wild what it does, how it connects to everything and creates workflows. It's kind of nuts.
Oh, yes. One other question. I know quite a few of you are taking the ideas to impact class. We're still having it tonight. I know that's a lot of stress. It's okay. Wednesday nights, your class and a lot of the things that you are doing in class are very similar in terms of, our challenges and things like that. Although we're not going to be discussing, obviously, hackathon stuff in class, you're working on your project. But yeah, we're going to still have class, and we're still having class tomorrow morning, same time, same place at 11 a.m. On Thursday mornings for the recap. So I know that that's freaking you out, but you know what? Life does not stop for a hackathon. You have to, understand how to toggle all of the different activities. And I will tell you, you have to look at your why. This is one of those moments, folks. Whenever I tell you in class, have a sticky note on your computer. Why are you here? What is it that you need to accomplish? And anytime you feel frazzled, anxious, anxiety ridden, just take a deep breath and look at your why, because it's super important. It's on your heart. It's obviously something that you feel passionate about, whether it's your kids, whether it's your grandparents, whether it's, just changing your stars, whether it's paying off your credit cards, maybe it's buying a house, whatever it is that your why is. You take a deep breath, concentrate on it, and you're going to say, I'm going to do what I have to do that, to get that. And, if you're hacking your own education on Wednesday nights, that is building a skill set that is very monetizable. This hackathon is your test. It's the test of what you know. It's the test of your muscle memory. It's, a big spotlight. It's a big target. We tell you to stand up and be so. I can tell you Nick Ellisher and Ross have not stopped building behind the scenes because we have a hackathon, and neither have I. We have robot camp this week, and there are 500 kids, in the afternoon, and I have to be there too. We all have those kinds of commitments, but you have to look at your why. And right now, my why is to equip, enable, and inspire all of you, and to be a good ancestor right now, so that you can create the things that are going to make futures dwellers, lives better. That's it. So I know that sounds kind of harsh, and I know you're freaking out. Take a deep breath, because the world does not stop because the circumstances aren't perfect. You just rise up, put your little good big girl, big boy pants on, fuzzy, rabbit slippers, brew another pot of coffee, and as I tell my own children to suck it up, buttercup. I am a benevolent dictator when it comes to my own children. They still had their homework, even if they were working on their side gigs and side projects. It's just the way it is. All right. Hope I answered the question, but yes.
And any other questions you can direct to myself on X, or Sarah on X, or in the Hackathon official Slack channel. I would actually say I prefer the official Hackathon Slack channel, DM there, or in the public chat.
Excellent. Go on to greatness, my loves. I'm so proud of you. You are doing awesome. Just keep swimming, Nemo. Just keep swimming.